So let us have a listen to the next minute and bit of what Trump has to say regarding restructuring or rejuvenating the educational system.
And sympathizers of many, many different dimensions. We can't let this happen. It's time to offer something dramatically different. Under the
Just that alone. So in Ireland, so context right for Ireland, because that's what I'm speaking of, but it's applicable to whatever country you're in, or you can apply this to any country you're in. When was the last time anyone spoke of a change, an opposition, something to rival the status quo education system?
plan I'm announcing today, we will take the billions and billions of dollars that we will collect by taxing, fining, and suing excessively large private university endowments, and we will then use that money to endow a new institution called the American Academy.
Fascinating as well. So again, look, he's speaking from an American context, and there's going to be nuance and differences between the Irish situation and the American one. But never mind that. That's kind of surface level details, right? The meaning or the deeper the deeper waters that he's drawn from, right, is the idea that what we have is not working. It's not benefiting people in the way that it could be benefiting people. And it's also just hoovering up government money, taxpayers' money, right? And it's churning out individuals who are detrimental to the society, right? So it's an act of poison. Third level education is at this point in time, right? Again, not across the whole lot of it, but there's certain departments there that are willingly antagonistic to the idea of nationhood, right? Which is the native people's history, the native people's future, the native people's relationship with themselves, with their race, with their ancestors, with all that sort of stuff, with their dreams and their hopes and their visions and their imagination, right? So could you imagine if instead of these just an endless stream of taxpayers' money and government money flowing into these departments were not only judged according to the astuteness of the minds that they produce or mold or educate, right? So if you're churning out trash, you will get no money, kind of a thing, right? So basic market philosophy, right? If what you're providing is not beneficial to people, then people will no longer pay for that service that you're offering, and you'll just crumble under your own weight, right? That'd be one thing. And then the second thing is, instead of just starving it in totality, why not elevate a competitor of it, right? And see how it does.
Its mission will be to make a truly world-class education available to every American, free of charge, and do it without adding a single dime to the federal debt. This institution will gather an entire universe of the highest quality educational content covering the full spectrum of human knowledge and skills, and make that material available to every American citizen online for free.
And I was thinking of this the last few days in reference to the government, right? So what tends to happen with humans is we create technology. We expand our ability to move in certain ways, like so microscopes. We have magnified our ability to see, right? So we extend our senses and our faculties by using technology, by developing it, creating it, imagining it, and utilizing it. But it takes a while for us to sort of catch up with the capabilities that have been unleashed by the technology. And social media, mobile phones, the internet, all that sort of stuff, it kind of has made a lot of the systems that we've been living by redundant. right? So, and that's kind of shown to a degree with the COVID lockdowns and stuff, where people could work from home, and largely save for people's like individual motivation while they're working at home. A lot of the work could actually be moved online in certain fields, right? Obviously, practical work can't. Like if you're in a factory, you need to be in the factory to work and to produce in that factory, right? But other jobs could have been shown to be able to be done at home, right? It doesn't mean you get the same level of output from people when they're in work or when they're at home, but in theory, a lot of the work could be done from home. The same with education. So a lot of lectures would have moved online, and almost everyone has the ability to engage with lectures online, and they have it in their pocket, right? So is there really a need for these big universities and institutions now? Because I suppose you could make the argument that, well, if all of the degrees and all of the learning and lectures went online, you would see people who are less motivated probably drop out, not engage to a sufficient degree with the online curriculum or with the online lectures, the education that is available to them online, right? And I would say, fair enough, leave them drop out, leave them show that they're not capable of engaging and sustaining their own interest and effort, and let's weed out the people who just shouldn't belong, right? Because as it stands, like, colleges will do their utmost to guarantee, or sorry, not guarantee, to strongly assist and get you over the line from semester to semester, because they get, if you continue into the next semester, they get more fees for you, right? They'll collect your fees again. If you go into next year, they'll collect your fees again. So it's in their best interest to assure that a high level of people, if not the highest level of people possible, can come through and can pass from semester to semester, right? So virtually, as long as you turn up, you can nearly just go in and get a degree. You can nearly buy a degree, right? But that doesn't mean you're capable in that area. It just means that you've engaged enough in college, like, to be able to get the reward for your engagement, right? But there's nothing to stop, as he's saying here, of gathering as much information as possible, and also gathering the best people to relay that information and to educate people, masters in their craft, right? People that are well versed in the topic they're talking about, and have them compete, right? So the better you are at teaching people, the more people are going to want to go to you, right? That's a fantastic thing. Fantastic thing. Because you pay to go and learn from the best. But he's saying make the information available for free, right? That's fascinating. That is the demise then of third level education as it stands, where people can hide behind the paywall and the time period, where regardless of how you work, degrees are 3 years and you have to matriculate through them and you have to wait the 3 years, right? What if you're totally capable of doing a little bit quicker than that? Should it take 3 or 4 years to earn a degree? Who decided that? Do you know? So what's interesting here is the questions that are brought up, regardless of whether Trump is going to implement this, or whether he's going to create this, or whether he's just talking lovely words to people that hungry ears, right? That's irrelevant. The fact that he's speaking about this lets us all engage in the conversation and continue the conversation of the sort of standards that we expect, and what could we do differently if we were to change it, right? So this is exciting stuff to be talking about this.
Whether you want lectures or ancient histories or an introduction to financial accounting or training in a skilled trade, the goal will be to deliver it and get it done properly, using study groups, mentors, industry partnerships, and the latest breakthrough in computing. This will be a truly top-tier education option for the people.
Really interesting. Like, so what this would... There's an argument to be made that the way college is at the moment, and universities are, that it sort of infantilizes young people, young adults, and it keeps, I suppose, it doesn't freeze them in their childhood, but it tends to extend their teenage years, right? So they go, and again, not all, right, but a good amount of them they party for a few years, and they just happen to get a degree along the way, or they just happen to go to class and learn a bit along the way, right? And then they leave college with a degree, probably a little bit of work experience, but 4 years of partying under the belt, right? And then they start living as adults, right? When they're probably 2 or 3 years behind someone who's just went from secondary school to working, right? But what Trump is saying here, and it's a great idea, is have the information online and then allow people to use their own volition to go and meet other people in study groups and stuff, to concretize the learning, right? To display the learning, to argue about it, and to learn from each other, right? But that would require a bit of a leap in the current development of the average person, right? Because they'd be taking total ownership over their own learning. Whereas as it stands now in college, it's still like school. It's structured classes. Here you go, bang, bang, bang. And that's it. You just turn up and wander from one class to the other and churn in an old essay when you're told an essay of not even your choosing, right? So, but this is really interesting stuff.
It will be strictly non-political, and there will be no wokeness or jihadism allowed. None of that's going to be allowed. Most importantly, the American Academy will compete directly with the existing and very costly four-year university system by granting students degree credentials that the U.S. government and all federal contractors will henceforth recognize.
Again, fascinating. An alternative. Why would there be? What would be the benefits of having an additional educational system competing against the one we have here? Competition, it creates innovation, or it forces innovation, right? It forces people to get better. So this is interesting stuff. And again, ideas. These are ideas that we can think about and we can implement, or we could hope to implement, but just get us thinking. It doesn't have to be the same thing over and over again.